Welcome, worm wranglers. Wondering how to warm your worms in this wonderful winter weather? Well, you're welcome to watch while we... Okay, that's enough W's. You guys want to learn how to warm up these beds, especially if you've got them in your garage or your basement or outside. You can do this on the cheap, and it's really beneficial for making more castings in the winter when they're supposed to slow down or they're not producing cocoons. Watch a video and you'll learn a little bit. Hey guys, so we are in a lot of forums and discussion groups where we're answering questions online, and we seem to get a whole lot, if you will, questions. What do I do about my outside worm bins? What about if my bins are in my basement, it's 60 degrees, or if they're in my garage and it's 50 degrees? Simple answer. Seed starting mats. This is a 20 by 20. Now this building is insulated. We got gas heat. It's 30 degrees or 27 degrees outside. I'm in a t-shirt. We have it 66 degrees in here. We're fine in here. I just set these guys up to show you there's a couple of reasons you can use seed starting mats. One, you put your seed starting mat, you do not want to cover the entire bed. That's a big no-no. You'll dry them out, you'll kill your worms, you'll cook them. With seed starting mat, you want something to cover about half the size of your bed. These 20 by 20s work great for the IBC totes. Now, one thing when you're running these, you kind of want to run it here for a day, run it here for a day, here for a day, or here for a day, if you want, because it'll dry out that spot in the bed. If you don't want to move it, put it in the center. Now, we are half covering these up because we're actually using the seed starting mats to help dry a couple of these bins out. We had too much pumpkin juice in them, and when we need to be running these in about 1 week, so these will help dry the beds out for us. With the seed starting mats, if your bin's covered, you can put the mat right on top. You don't even have to get it dirty. That heat's going to transfer down there. But if you want to keep it covered like this, that's fine too, and it'll kind of help radiate and keep that heat into the bed. Now that is a 20 by 20. These seed starting mats come in a lot of different sizes, and I'm going to show you over here on different ways we can implement that. Okay, here's one of our continuous flow through, Okay, here's one of our wedge systems. I'm using two 20 by 20s. They're not really plugged in, but two 20 by 20s. As you can see, that's covering about half of that angle on there. That's plenty. You again can either leave it on one side. I recommend putting it right in the middle. That was a sweet spot. The worms can self-regulate their temperature by coming and going where they want. They make these seed starting mats in 2 foot by 4 foot. We have 4 of those inside in our grow tent for our seeds when we start growing vegetables. But the 20 by 20s will work in a pinch, just as simple. Again, you can put this underneath if you want. Just as simple as that. Turn them on, kind of forget them. That's the key. If you have the more expensive ones that have the thermostat, set it at 75 or 70 degrees, 75 degrees, and you're good. These self-regulate themselves. We don't have the no control over the temperature. I think it gets around 100 degrees. I have to look it up. This works great, these 20 by 20s or a 2 foot by 4 foot. Let's go over here and look at these other bins. Okay, a lot of you have some sort of a tower. It doesn't have to be a worm tower. This will come off Temu. You can get any kind you want. Even a 5-gallon bucket system will work. Any kind of continuous flow through. This is the urban worm bag, or if you built a trash can one, or Vermi Hut, I think is the other one. Any kind of a system like that, we got something for this. And if you built yourself some sort of bed like this. This bed is a wedge system, but we've built it 50-gallon drum. Let me turn the camera. Cut in half. Now, this is a 10 by 20 seed starting mat. This is your typical seed starting mat you're going to find at Lowe's, Home Depot. I recommend going to Amazon. You can get these a lot cheaper than you can at your local grocery or gardener store. Again, put it on one side or put it in the middle. Plug it in, cover it up. Now you're going to keep that one side of that bed. Your worms aren't going to freeze. You don't have to worry about them. And these things don't really use that much electricity. Okay, urban worm bag, same way. Can you see in there? Yeah. Half the bin is covered. If I move it over here so you can see, half the bin is covered. That again is a 10 by 20 seed starting mat. Simple mat you get from just any grocery store. Zip that up. Not only that, this is going to help retain the heat. Now again, the worms can go where they want. This is my favorite one because these seed starting mats were sent to us on accident. These are ridiculous. I didn't think we'd ever use them for anything, but I found a good place for them. This is a 4-inch by 20-inch seed starting mat. I guess it'd be good if you're starting in Dixie cups. You guys know who you are. But you can take that, put it in there, just fold up the ends a little bit. Now your tower or your 5-gallon bucket or whatever you got heat in there and they're good. A lot of you have trays. Let's move over here. Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Okay, a lot of you using the mortar trays like you get from Lowe's or Home Depot or Menards. And some of you have the bus bins that you get from Sam's or any restaurant store. The 10 by 20, as you can see, these are extremely versatile. You can either put these on top. You can put a cover over there if you want. Some of you guys use the cocoa core or just a piece of plastic, an old feed sack, anything like that if you want. You can also put it up underneath it. I don't mind up underneath it. It keeps it nice and clean. It works. It does the same thing. Now, if you need to move this, you can move it. The bus bins, same thing. But on the bus bins, you can see the bottom. You don't want to put it under there perfectly because the entire thing will heat up and you'll cook your worms. So only put it on, as you can see, hopefully you can see that, about halfway. So you can actually put a bus bin and another bus bin and use one seed starting mat. You can use a 20 by 20 and do the same thing. One 20 by 20 and split. Let me grab a 20 by 20 and I'll show you. So again, here's a 20 by 20. You can place that, put half of that bed on there, half of that bed, that's too much. Now, one seed starting mat is heating up 2 different bins. You can't do it from the top as well. It doesn't work that great, but I recommend keeping an eye on your moisture. As these heat up, you're going to get evaporation. So you want to go in for, keep a good regular check because these will evaporate water, or what's the right word I'm looking for? That will make water go away. That water will evaporate. So you want to keep up on your watering. What I recommend is if you're running your seed starting mat and this side turns dry, fluff your bin, get it back to the moisture you want, put your seed starting mat back on there. And after a while, after a couple weeks, depending on the temperatures, you'll learn how much moisture you need to put in there. Anyway, guys, these things are cheap. I mean, I think we paid like $13 a piece because we bought like 25 of them. But we use these for multiple reasons. Again, in our beds, the whole building's heated. We don't have to use them, but we can use them to help dry out bins too. A lot of people, they don't know that. We found it out by accident, but throw you a couple seed starting mats in there. And I'll spin you around one more time. Okay, this bin right here, for example, this bin we had a lot of pumpkins in. Sorry, let me change you up. Okay. Okay, for example, this bin, we had a lot of pumpkins in here, and it got really, really wet. And it got too wet, way more wet than what we like, and we like really nice wet bins. That's 20 by 20. You see there, I got another 20 by 20. I've got a good 14, 15 inches by 24 inches, and the same thing there. I can run both of these in here, come back, run them one night, 24 hours to 48 hours. What's up underneath here will be dramatically more dry than you're going to expect. The next day, switch them over. Switch them directly opposite, let them heat up, let them do their thing. That's another way you can dry out some bins. But guys, this is pretty simple. There's a whole bunch of people where they'll tell you, you can wrap insulation, you can run some heaters, you can do all these weird things. These things barely use any electricity. You can work out, if you know how to work Ohm's law, on how many watts, how many amps, yada, yada, yada. And anyway, these run up to 80 degrees. Anyway, it's just some seed starting mats. They're really cheap. If you're a gardener, you've probably already got some. Even if your mat is too big for your bin, put half your bin up on top of it. You don't have to put all of it on there. And you can split a heat starting mat. You can split a seed starting mat, put 2 bins on there. All right, guys, I think that's about it. It's a simple way. You can figure out some way, somehow, to use these mats to heat up your worms or keep them warm during winter. And again, if they are warmer in the winter, they're going to still be breeding. They're going to still produce castings for you, and they're not going to slow down. Anyway, that's another way to keep your worms warm in the winter. Thank you, guys.